Do you remember being 11 when your biggest worry was UPSR next year and whether your friends would be allowed to come over to your sleepover? When you believed that you could do anything and that your horizon was limitless? Despite it being an awkward tween stage, there are many 11-year-olds these days who are living up to that limitless potential. Anna Hersey is a table tennis player. She'll be representing Wales at the Commonwealth Games in Australia. Hamad Safi is a Pakistani motivational speaker who coaches people twice his age. Closer to home, we have Ayu. She's never been to school. She's the daughter of impoverished Thai rubber tappers. And she's married to a 41-year-old Malaysian man who happens to employ her parents, says he pities the child, and sees nothing wrong in wedding and bedding one of his children's friends. Never mind that Che Abdul Karim is chopping her like she's a piece of fresh meat. Never mind that he could have chosen to help her by sponsoring her education instead. Ayu says she's in love with her husband, and they'll only live together as husband and wife once she turns 16. Right. The man probably has a countdown timer to the exact second she turns legal. And horror of horrors, her parents apparently gave their blessings to the union. Which begs the question, why? Did poverty have anything to do with their decision to marry off their daughter, who instead of marrying a paedophile should be crushing on boys her age and dancing to K-pop tunes? Because there is no denying that poverty and child marriage go hand in hand. In 2014, UNICEF pointed out that in all the regions it surveyed, it is the girls from the poorest families who are most prone to marrying before they turn 18. These child brides were likely to be uneducated, and such incidents were most common in rural areas, especially in countries like Ghana and Peru. I mean, that's old school thinking for you, right? Even if you came from a rich Asian family, there are only two things that your parents care about. Number one, that you are married. And number two, that you're either a doctor or an engineer. Sorry, that's Chinese parents, but you get my drift. Now, imagine if you didn't come from a rich family. To many impoverished families, marriage is essentially a ticket to a daughter's future, or a way to reduce the number of mouths they need to feed. Their daughter won't have to struggle at school or earn a living. She'll have a proper roof over her head and have 3 meals a day. An easier ride through life for sure. But is it really? Girls Not Brides is a global partnership of more than 900 civil society organizations from over 95 countries. It says this belief is mistaken. Citing data from sources like the World Bank and UNICEF, it says globally, girls who marry before 18 are more likely to face violence from an intimate partner throughout their life. It also says that the greater the age differences with their husbands, the more likely these girls are to experience violence, with 44% of girls aged 15 to 19 thinking a husband is justified in hitting or beating his wife. Child brides are also too young to be mothers. A 2016 UNICEF report shows that complications during pregnancy and childbirth are the second leading global cause of death for girls between ages 15 and 19. And babies born to mothers under age 20 are 1.5 times more likely to die during the first 28 days than babies born to mothers in their 20s or 30s. What makes it worse is that child marriage traps these girls in a cycle of poverty. Most of them aren't being sent to school because they're meant to be just wives and mothers. A 2017 report by the World Bank and the International Center for Research on Women says this drastically limits their potential earnings in adulthood, which makes it hard for them to make enough money to lift themselves and their families out of poverty. Now, the government has said that it is investigating Che Abdul Karim for sexual grooming. It will also study measures, including introducing a standardized screening process for marriages involving minors, while NGOs want an immediate ban on child marriage. I think it's fantastic that we look at protecting our girls from a legal and procedural standpoint, but we're talking about a practice that is entrenched in culture with roots in economics. India, for instance, outlawed child marriages in 1929, and it still has the highest number of child brides in the world. So we might want to look at a more holistic approach. For starters, we need to address poverty and come up with the right financial incentives so that impoverished families can afford to keep their girls in school. Teach all children, not just girls, to be financially savvy so that they can break out of the poverty cycle. Teach them and their parents to recognize grooming. And most importantly, raise awareness about the risks that come with child marriages, because you can ban them all you want. But this practice will continue if society still believes it is the right thing to do. Just saying.